Bookoholics for giving us this wonderful platform. And my piece is a little long, so thankfully I'm not the last speaker, so you will not be blaming me for standing between you and the refreshments. And I guess it's in some way an extension of what Nisha already spoke about. Basically the piece tries to convey that you should not judge people too often because everybody is fighting their own battles and having their own problems. But I like to look at this with a slight bit of twist, what I have seen and what I have observed in my own personal life, and it's in context of what Nisha was again speaking, that you kind of tend to hold your problems too close to your face, and so much so that you actually blinded out to what else lies ahead of you. And that's the way I like to interpret this piece. So I'll just start off then. Vivek Pradhan was not a happy man. Even the plush comfort of the air-conditioned compartment of Shatabdi Express could not cool his frayed nerves. He was the project manager and still not entitled to air travel. It was not prestige he sought. He had tried to reason with the admin person. It was the savings in time. As the PM, he had so many things to do. He opened his case and took out the laptop, determined to put time to some good use. "Are you from the software industry, sir?" The man beside him was staring appreciatively at the laptop. Vivek glanced briefly and mumbled affirmation, handling the laptop now with exaggerated care as if it was an expensive car. "You people have brought so much advancement to our country, sir. Today everything is getting computerized." "Thanks," smiled Vivek, turning around to give the man a look. He always found it difficult to resist appreciation. The man was young, stoically built like a sportsman. He looked simple and strangely out of place in that little lap of luxury, like probably a small town boy in a prep school. He probably was a railway sportsman, Vivek thought, making the most of his free traveling pass. "You people always amaze me," the man continued. "You sit in an office and write something on a computer, and it does so many big things outside." Vivek smiled appreciatingly. Naiveness demanded reasoning, not anger. "It is not as simple as that, my friend. It is not just a question of writing a few lines. There is a lot of process that goes behind it." For a moment, he was tempted to explain the entire software development life cycle, but restrained himself to a single statement. "It is complex, very complex." "It has to be. No wonder you people are so highly paid," came the reply. This was now turning out to be as Vivek had thought. A hint of antagonism crept into his so far affable, persuasive tone. "Everyone just sees the money. No one sees the amount of hard work we have to put into it. Indians have such a narrow concept of hard work. Just because we sit in air-conditioned offices does not mean our brows do not sweat. You exercise the muscle, we exercise the mind. And believe me, that is no less taxing," he said. He could see he had seen the man where he wanted, and it was time to drive home his point. "Let me give you an example. Take this train. The entire railway reservation system is computerized. You can book a ticket between any two stations from anywhere of the hundreds of computerized booking centers across the country. Thousands of transactions accessing a single database at a time concurrently. Data integrity, locking, data security. Do you understand the complexity in designing and coding such a system?" The man was awestruck, quite like a child at a planetarium. This was something big and beyond his imagination. "You design and code such things?" "I used to, but now I'm the project manager." "Oh, so your life is easy now." This was like the last straw for Vivek. He retorted, "Oh, come on. Does life ever get easy as you go up the ladder? Responsibility only brings more work. Designing and coding, that is the easiest part. Now I do not do it, but I am responsible for it. And believe me, that is far more stressful. My job is to get the work done in time and with the highest quality. To tell you about the pressures, there is the customer at one end, always changing his requirements, the user at the other, wanting something else, and your boss, always expecting to have finished it yesterday." Vivek paused in his diatribe, his belligerence fading with self-realization. What he had said was not merely the outburst of a wrong man, it was the truth. And one need not get angry while defending the truth. My friend, he concluded triumphantly, you don't know what it is like to be in the line of fire. The man sat back in his chair, closed his eyes as if in realization. When he spoke after some time, it was a calm certainty that surprised Vivek. I know, sir. I know what it is like to be in the line of fire. There were 30 of us when we were ordered to capture .4875 in the cover of the night. The enemy was firing from the top. There was no knowing where the next bullet was going to come from and for whom. In the morning, when we finally hoisted the tricolor, at the top, only 4 of us were alive. You are up. I am Subedar Sushant from 13 JMK Rifle on duty at Peak 4875 in Kargil. They tell me I have completed my term and can opt for a soft assignment. But tell me, sir, can you give up duty just because it makes life easier? On the dawn of that capture, one of my colleagues lay injured in the snow, open to enemy fire when we were hiding behind the bunker. It was my job to go and fetch the soldier to safety. But my captain sahib refused me and went ahead himself. He said that the first pledge he had taken as a gentleman cadet was to put the safety and welfare of the nation foremost, followed by the safety and welfare of the men he commanded. His own personal safety came last, always and every time. He was killed as he shielded and brought the injured soldier into the bunker. Every morning thereafter, as we stood guard, I could see him taking all those bullets, which were actually meant for me. I know, sir. I know what it is like to be in the line of fire. Vivek looked at him in disbelief, not sure how to respond. Abruptly, he switched off his laptop. It seemed tribal, even insulting to edit a Word document in the presence of a man for whom valor and duty was a daily part of life. Valor and sense of duty, which he had so far attributed only to epical heroes. The train slowed down as it pulled into the station, and Subedar Sushant picked up his bag to alight. It was nice meeting you, sir. Vivek fumbled with a handshake. His hand had climbed mountains, pressed the trigger, and hoisted a tricolor. Suddenly, as if by impulse, he stood up at attention, and his right hand went up in an impromptu salute. It was the least he could do for his country. Live humbly. There are great people around us. Let us learn. Be polite. Every one of us is fighting a hard battle.